Hello, and welcome to another edition of PaynePoints of Interest, where we talk about and answer questions relating to all things in small business. So grab your coffee, sit back, and join us as we start the discussion. I'm your host, Sarah Harbuck, and with me is Ray Coleman. Hello, Ray.
How you doing?
All right. We talk about business stuff here on this podcast, and something that pretty much every business owner should have is an accountant. So how do you find an accountant? What do you do? What do you look for? Ray, do you have an accountant?
Do I have an accountant? I
Not a personal one?
I don't have a personal accountant, but for businesses, yeah, we got an accountant. What I would look for, there are...
Personally, when you're going out and hiring services like this, what do you look for?
Finding an accountant to me is like finding a lawyer. Mm-hmm. The first thing that you want, in my opinion, is to ask people who already have dealt with this. Mm-hmm. Who did they use and who did they recommend?
Word of mouth.
I think that is step one.
Yeah. Because
the service for lawyers and accountants and things like that varies tremendously from person to person.
And what their specialty is.
This particular service is one of those things where you don't want to go with the lowest bidder.
Right.
Okay, so typically the more you pay for it, the more sought after the service is in these particular instances. So the normal way that you would go about finding a good and service may not work. So I would start with word of mouth. Look for their credentials. Okay, so if you need a certified public accountant to work your books, make sure you find a CPA. If you're just trying to get your taxes done, you don't really need a CPA. Okay, you can just find a place that does your taxes.
Yeah.
So know what you're looking for, because if you hire a CPA to do your taxes, they'll do it, but they're going to charge you much more than your local H&R Block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We chose our CPA for our businesses based on personal relationships that we had with some of the people who actually worked in the firm, and just that interconnective networking. My brother-in-law actually worked for her husband in the construction business, and she was an accountant, and it was just sort of like that 6 degrees of separation. Like, oh, I know so-and-so, and they do this, and that person knows so-and-so, So it was, in that way, it was definitely a word-of-mouth, friend referral, interconnective network of people that we knew. And so we used them. And then she left to start her own very specialized accounting firm for businesses that deal with medical marijuana, CBD, THC. Well, our businesses don't really fall into that category. I mean, I think she does other stuff too, but she really wanted to focus on businesses that accommodated those particular items. And so we stayed with the firm, even though we didn't know the rest of the people there, but we had kind of, built a relationship over the last, 8, 9, 10 years.
Right.
And, they're real nice. They're very accommodating. They send out a packet every year of stuff for our taxes and quarterly for our businesses. And you just fill that out and give it to them. And if they have any questions, they call you. Otherwise, they do it all for you and send you the stuff afterwards. And there's no hassle. And yeah, we pay for it.
Yeah. No, that's a worth it service.
Definitely, because there's so many things about taxes and money and all the things that go along with your business that you can't, unless you're a specialized individual in that field, you can't ever know. Like me trying to do our taxes at home would just have been a nightmare.
Well, and that's the other thing about it. If what you're paid for the most part is experience. Mm-hmm. They're sending you a packet out and doing your quarterly
expertise,
because they absolutely know the question that you're going to have before you have it, because they've done it 20 times before.
Right.
And so, listen, before you even get started, look through this packet, fill all this stuff out, answer all the questions, and then if you have questions after that, then I'll come and see you about it.
Yeah.
That sort of service is absolutely worth every penny.
And they've helped us set up different things for the business that are beneficial to us as business owners. Tax things and things we didn't even know existed for small business owners. So in that way, definitely ask your friends, who do you use? Find somebody who's reputable, who has a good name in the community in which
Find
you
somebody
live.
that's been, this isn't their first rodeo.
Right.
You don't want somebody to come right out of college.
Right.
You want that guy
Usually those people
to
go work
apprentice.
at
Right.
these firms,
Yeah.
and get the experience they need.
You want the guy to get some experience before they get to you.
Your family friend who's kind of dabbled in accounting, that may be
Yeah,
fine if
see,
you have a sole proprietorship and you don't do anything else, but nah, probably not a good idea.
that was the other part of it. It's like a lot of people can get away with all right, my brother-in-law owned a business back in the day and he knows how to do books, and I want you, that can work out if that person is trustworthy and competent. That can work. I would not suggest that's the first place you go.
Yeah.
That's like the last place you go.
Yeah.
That's if you've tried 3 CPAs and they all robbed you.
Yeah.
Then go to your brother-in-law.
And no slamming people who just do it on the side. I get it. If you have a very simple business, it's just you don't have employees, you're not paying different kinds of employee taxes and things like that, it may be more cost effective for you to go to someone who does it as a side business or what have you. If you run a business where you have employees and you have to, pay benefits and things like that, all the different little nuances that go along with having multiple people work for you.
Right.
You probably should go to someone who is a professional who does this as their main job, that has a firm, that has had years of experience, because they're going to give you the best advantage in your taxes, in your business, the way you distribute your money. They're going to be able to help guide you and say, okay, you know what, you had it set up like this, but maybe we need to set you up as this kind of a business because of what you do and how much money you make and all those different things. Whereas your friend that does it on the side may not have that wealth of knowledge or the amount of experience that go, they don't keep up with it as often as the people who, I think they have to go to continuing education every year and get recertified in things. And,
if you have a big enough company, but not even that big, but you probably need a finance guy just on your payroll.
Yeah.
So I would say if it's just you and, your family is a family business, you can probably get away with just having an accountant that has other clients. If you employ, let's say, 8 people, 10 people, somewhere along the lines, you probably need a CFO.
Yeah.
A person who, that's what they're going to do with their time, is going to be managing your finances of your business.
Right.
Because that thing gets complicated very quickly
Yes.
when you start getting into those larger numbers of employees.
Yeah. And it really, if that's not your strong point, and that's always what we say here at PaynePoints, hire the people who fill in the weaknesses, the gaps in your knowledge, the gaps in your strengths, because there's no need for you to do it all on your own. And yeah, it's going to be an expense, but honestly, it's a worthwhile one in the long term, so that you don't get audited, and B, you're spending your money in the best way possible. So
I think one of the worst things that can happen to a business, and it happened to us, is to get to a certain point in your year and realize you haven't paid your business taxes.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at oh crap, how do you do that when you haven't done that yet?
Yes.
And so definitely have somebody with their eye on those little things.
Yeah. Find friends who've used services like that before, get their recommendations, go online, look at reviews, and then, you can go in and do consulting with a lot of these firms, and just kind of sit down and have a meeting.
Yeah, just they'll give you a little rudimentary plan.
Yeah, and you may pay. It may be free. You may have to pay a little bit, but it's like a job interview. Both of you are kind of interviewing each other. Are you a right fit for me? Or are you a right fit for them? Just always hire professionals when you can, when it comes to stuff like your taxes and your money, because that's just not something you want to play around with and take a risk on old Fred next door who used to do it back in the day.
Yeah, it's kind of the whole point of the business, right? It's trying to keep the money flowing, and so I think that's it. I think that's a good place to kind of splurge.
Yeah, definitely. Well, guys, we've been doing something a little different on the podcast. We've been trying to highlight local businesses and just really, promote small business. And this week we want to feature Tomei Catering. They're a local business here in Lufkin, Texas. They have a website, tomeicatering.com. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram and all the different social media. They take orders online, by phone. You can go pick up. They do individual meals if it's just you. They also do family meals if you need to feed a bunch of people. They do desserts and drinks. They have some of the best food that I've had. They cater a lot of weddings that I have shot in the past. So you cannot go wrong with Tomei Catering. It's a little family-run business. sweet, sweet ladies that cook up some of the best food. They're located here locally at 206 East Groesbeck Avenue in Lufkin, Texas. And I would recommend, if you need some good home cooking, you give them a call. As always, this is going to be the end of it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. And if you have any questions or comments, just find us on our social media at PaynePoints.com, Facebook and LinkedIn at PaynePoints, Instagram at Payne.points, and Twitter at PointsPayne. You can now call or text us at 855-PAYNEPT. That's 855-729-6378. We hope everybody has a great day. Now let's get to work.
See you later.